There are many, many, many things that I find problematic, troubling, and downright scary with this administration and what their plans are for this country. I think, like most of the country, I feel like November 8th, 2016 was in some ways a devastating day for a lot of people who don't necessarily support the administration and the policies of this administration. I also think it was the day that Americans kind of woke up, because it was a big lesson in civic engagement for all of us, that if you don't participate in your democratic institutions, that you can lose them, because they're only as solid as we the people and how much we participate in them. I think it's a complicated topic, but I do believe that this is a nation of immigrants. I'm a child of an immigrant. My father immigrated from Italy, had the Ellis Island experience. He immigrated in 1937 to escape the war that was happening in Europe. And they came through Ellis Island, and it was like really a typical immigrant story. My whole life, I heard about, when the ship came in, the first time he saw the Statue of Liberty, what that felt like, what it meant to him and his family, how scary it was, but how much opportunity they would have open up for them. That is America's story. That's not just my story. It's not just, the stories of people who are immigrants themselves. That is the story of this country. We are a country of immigrants. And we've seen, it's not just this administration. We've seen exclusionary acts in the early 20th century. We've kind of always battled this as a nation, but the thought of building a wall on our southern border is absurd. I agree with our Senator Kamala Harris, who says it's an absolute waste of money. People are going to find a way to get here. If people are going to risk their lives to get to the United States for whatever the reason, if they're escaping war, if they're escaping really difficult situations at home, if they want to have a better life for themselves, isn't that the same kind of initiative and entrepreneurial spirit and survival spirit that we honor as a nation? So I think that our immigration policies should reflect that, and they should be compassionate, and they should honor what it says on the Statue of Liberty, because that is who we are as a nation.
Most of the immigrants that do work and live here are the ones who, build our school systems, who plant our, fruits and vegetables, who really work hard. Even within our community, we have community leaders and congressmen who are also, sons and daughters of immigrants who come here. So I believe his policy is really it's already diminishing him because of the way that he is, but I really think it's going to demean the rest of the people here, and it's going to make them worry. I mean, we already have people talking about what are they going to do because they're undocumented and they're students, so they're using other people's, Social Security in order to be in school, and, when they're done, and if they happen to go back, will that education be taken from them from the higher institution that they went to? So I believe that his policy, it's not good for any of us in America because they make up America. I mean, they were here first, to be honest. California, Southern California was pretty much all of Mexico. So it all ties back into history. I've noticed that a lot of course, Mexican Americans have been targeted, a lot of Muslims have been targeted. I can't really speak on them too because I'm not Mexican nor am I Muslim, but a lot of African Americans have been targeted too. And it's kind of crazy to see how African Americans do support this man, and I don't understand how can you support somebody who demeans all the other races, yet it's like the home of the free and the land of the brave.
I think they've been really clear about who they're going to target. They plan to target anybody who's undocumented and potentially even people who are documented. So I think a lot of people are at risk, and you can't have an economic system that depends on people being undocumented and then all of a sudden say, oh, now we're going to crack down on this, and we're going to do that by cracking down on the people who are actually participating in this economy at the lowest level with no worker protections, no security, who are being underpaid for their work and sometimes not even being paid for their work. And that's how you're going to reform everything, is by targeting them and deporting them. What about the economic system that relies on that labor? There's a lot that we have to look at, not just people who are here undocumented. Obviously, it specifically targets people that are, like I said, undocumented. And that's a real fear. And that fear will really penetrate our communities, who we are as a city in Los Angeles, who we are as a community here at Cal State Dominguez Hills, who we are as a community in California. We can't have a large segment of our population living in constant fear. So I think we have to find ways to work to protect those who are most vulnerable and really push for compassionate and comprehensive immigration reform so people don't have to live in the shadows, who are then not only living in fear but exploited by an economic system that actually depends on that. So
I think even though the Congress is pretty much a GOP and it's pretty much House of Republicans, I believe somewhere in there they have something in their brain that's like, it's not right.
Well, it affected me it made me worried because I'm an immigrant. I was born in Syria, but I came here when I was a year old. So it affected me I have to really stop procrastinating on my paperwork, and I have to really get it over and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of scares me, like, what if I don't finish in time? Would he really send me back to Syria? That's the country I was born.
Mm-hmm.
What he's trying to do is basically impossible. He can't kick out every single immigrant out of this country.